energy forecast for Monday, March 25th. So welcome to the full moon lunar eclipse in Libra Day. Of course, there's tons of information out there from both myself and everybody else in the world talking about what this eclipse is all about. And of course, I am going to recommend that you download your Aries season e-guide, that you flip to this particular section where we're going to capture the topics and themes currently kind of being brought to your attention on what needs to change, especially within your relationship dynamics. I'm also going to recommend that you take a listen to the astro forecast that I put out for this particular event as well. And there is a new and improved moon guide out there should you want to do a deep dive into these particular moon events, do the shadow work, do the alignment work in order to actually level up, to stay ahead of the game and to align with your higher self. I'm going to recommend all of those things to you. And of course, if you just want to take a listen to this forecast, you should be able to pluck out just a little bit of what this particular moon energy is all about. But of course, we're here to do the work. And so that's why I'm a naggy Nancy. I'm not a negative Nancy. I'm a naggy Nancy here today. And I'm definitely going to push you to dive deeper into what these particular energies are all about. So of course, we had this full moon reach its peak energy at 3 a.m., again, Eastern Standard Time. And so there is this going to be weird kind of energy. Think of Libran energy as the scales are going up and down and back and forth in order for us to find a new balance point. And so the energy is going to be a little bit whack here for a couple of days, if not a couple of weeks, because of course we are in eclipse season. And that means that everything just has a weirdness to it, a little bit of a wackadoodle topic and theme to it. Everything is not as it seems. And we're definitely going to realize that again and again over the next couple of weeks. So of course, the moon is in Libran energy, will be all day. There are 9 different aspects taking place here today. 6 of them are going to involve the moon. Before any moon events pop off, we have Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, even our anger, in this Pisces energy, making a very, very interesting interaction with Pluto, the great transformer himself, who's in Aquarius energy. So we have the god of war and the god of the underworld coming together. They're meeting up in order to show us what? Well, they're showing us where it is that there's some hidden details, some hidden layers to this very complex type of plan that we're trying to piece together. We are being shown where it is that some of the tougher emotions are actually leading us into a new path, into a new direction. Again, reminder, Mars and this Pisces energy, emotionally, intuitively, spiritually trying to get aligned with a new mission, with a new purpose. We are in fantasy land, in imagination land, in that Pisces energy. There is some purging to do, especially doing a deep dive into our fears, our doubts, our insecurities that likely are blocking us from feeling well equipped and well prepared to actually jump into new topics and themes, jump into a new path, a new direction. That, of course, is going to make us not only in alignment with our higher self, but definitely have a new mission, new quest, new purpose for us to pursue. That Plutonian energy is coming in to transform our thoughts, our ideas, our inner energy in order to understand that there are many layers now being peeled back and hidden details now being revealed to us that will help us kind of gain a different perspective and therefore different momentum on what it is now that we want to build, what we want to create, what we want to pursue. 3 a.m. Again, Eastern Standard Time, the moon is going to directly sit across from the sun. The sun in Aries, the moon in Libran energy. This is what gives us our full moon. And of course, it's a lunar eclipse, so basically a normal full moon on steroids. There is a karmic sector to this particular moon event because the universe is in the driver's seat and really putting us on a path that we failed to put ourselves upon. There is a lot of karma unfolding. There are a lot of synchronicities, validations on what it is that we're leaving behind in order for us to kind of have the space to grow into something new. Again, going to recommend all of those resources that I rattled off at the beginning of this forecast so that you can do the work, you can get in alignment, you can stay ahead of the game. Shortly after the full moon peaks, we have the moon in Libran energy making an awkward interaction with Uranus, the Great Awakener, who of course is in Taurus energy. One thing we have in common here is that Venus, who rules over this full moon lunar eclipse in Libran energy, she also rules over the Taurus energy that Uranus is in. This is likely going to tip the scales in a very opposite type of direction, putting us in a situation where we're not feeling so good, we're not feeling so hot, where we're not really seeing the path forward, instead sitting in the confusion, sitting in the rigidity of our mind space, not really being open to seeing new thoughts, new ideas take form, definitely not aware of the new options and opportunities, just on the, I'm going to say, outer limits of us being able to realize what that actually is. And so this is going to bring in a lot of anxiety, definitely a jolt of energy to the central nervous system. Again, a full moon, we're always dealing with a, I'm going to say, emotional intensity, but because this is in Libra energy, those scales are just back and forth until we can find a sweet spot, and it is not happening as of right now. So we have Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, in this Pisces energy, making a semi-square, a little bit of tension, a little bit of conflict with Pluto, the great transformer himself, in this Aquarius energy. So we are definitely managing some very deep, very interesting, very complex feelings, not only because we're in a full moon eclipse vibe, but because Venus in this Pisces energy, she is having to unpack a lot of thoughts, a lot of ideas, a lot of memories, a lot of, I'm going to say, realizations on where it is that her heart space is changing. She wants different things. She has a different set of priorities, of values. And it is a very intense type of tunnel vision that we are doing into our headspace, into our heart space. And of course, Pluto just likes to peel back the layers of our psyche, understanding where some of those not so nice seeds have gotten planted in our past experiences. And although we do have a want, need, and desire to kind of take control of a situation, especially when we're feeling out of control, the natural disposition is to control our physical environments or even the people around us. There is, I'm going to say, a situation pushing us to want to kind of take control over whatever it is that we technically could have control over. But I'm going to recommend that we don't do that. It's only going to cause problems. You're only kind of, taking your inability to have control over your thoughts and your feelings, and you're putting it in the external world. And of course, that's not going to fix anything, not going to resolve anything, and probably going to lead to making a mess, some problems that we just don't need to create in our physical realms as of right now. Now, interesting dynamic here. Again, another reason why I'm going to encourage you to dive into all of those resources is that this particular full moon lunar eclipse in Libran energy is the breakup energy. Again, really kind of kerfuffling, ruffling the feathers, so to speak, of all of our relationship dynamics so that we can kind of tweak the particular connection, the attachment that we have with certain people. And so this, if you're going to project this particular energy into your external realm and starting to push yourself into wanting to take control and maybe even manipulate the situation or the people in it, you're definitely going to trigger and activate resistance in other people, therefore creating a conflict that we definitely don't want to deal with, especially with Venus and Pisces energy. We want to avoid confrontation at all costs. We're just creating a mess that we do not need to be creating for ourselves at this point. So it's really beneficial for us to step back, to act as the observer, to see what it is that we don't feel in control of within our own selves, and really resist the temptation to want to project those control issues out into our external realm. The moon in Libra, going to make a positive interaction with Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passions, our desires in this Pisces energy. I love this because it means that, first of all, we are tapping into some better energies, let's say. We are kind of realizing where it is that we have a spark, a fire, a flame, a burst of excitement, a burst of inspiration, a burst of motivation to actually get not only in alignment, not only renew and refresh ourselves spiritually and intuitively speaking, but to actually understand that some of the visions that we are receiving, some of the dreams that we are percolating on, they're actually tangible. We can bring them to life, and we're starting to realize where it is that we are kind of building, cultivating, again, this fire, this spark, this flame within us. Really making sure that we can hold on to this energy in order for us to actually see the bumpiness of trying to initiate something new through. And so this is a good energy. It is very much putting us in a situation where we're feeling bold and brave and courageous. We're also feeling highly inspired and highly motivated in a particular direction with a particular vision, with a particular goal in mind. The sun in Aries energy going to semi-square Uranus in this Taurus energy. So this is definitely going to shake things up. This is uneasiness. This is restlessness. This is ants in our pants. This is anxiety burst. Could be inspiration and excitement as well, but a semi-square is kind of suggesting that we're tapping into the not so nice energy bursts or spontaneous, let's say, bolts of lightning that come into our central nervous system. Basically, there is this, again, energy building. Think of Aries energy as the fire. And we just want to take action. We want to make moves. We want to switch things up. We want to try something new. We want to break away from the monotony of our same old routine. However, we don't know what to do. We don't know how to do that. We don't know what we have control over, what we can take action upon, what we can actually kind of switch up, what we can change, what we can adopt as far as new methods go. There's an element of confusion. Again, full moon energy, let alone eclipse energy, we are not seeing things clearly at all. Let me also just say that if something were to go awry, maybe you have plans and suddenly those plans get canceled or disrupted in any kind of way. Maybe you had a certain idea of how it is that you wanted the day to go, and there's wrenches constantly being thrown into your day that is basically putting you in a situation to have to detour in ways that you weren't prepared to do. That in itself is enough to push us over the edge. And when I say to you that full moon, again, everything is intensified. Lunar eclipse, again, even more intensified. And again, having this urgency to take action and make moves when we're really not being supported to do that, we could definitely cluster F ourselves. We do not want to do that at all. So it is super, super recommended to, again, breathe, act as the observer, simplify, and understand that anything that is thrown at you, especially unexpected or wild card events, are not meant to punish you. They're meant to detour you into a different direction. One case or another, you have no idea what the universe is trying to save you from by altering your plans. So try to keep that mindset, because it can get very frustrating at certain times to have, like, curveballs being thrown at you and wrenches being thrown at you, like, ouch. But again, keep it simple. Go with the flow. Just kind of laugh in the face of change, if you will, and just understand where it is that all of this energy building within us is a good testament to how much control we have over our thoughts and over our feelings. The moon in Libra is then going to make a positive interaction with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings, in the Taurus energy. Again, sister sign to Libra, seeing as Venus rules over the Libran energy and the Taurus energy. So we know, because this is a positive interaction, that this is a glow up in energy, in mind space, in emotions. We are feeling optimistic. We are feeling confident. We are understanding where it is that the discomfort that we're currently experiencing is an opportunity for us to switch things up, an opportunity to kind of see where it is that we have outgrown certain circumstances, and the opportunity for us to expand on what is currently working is definitely being encouraged. We are feeling the good vibes. We are essentially, again, think of the choppiness that we've already kind of discussed here today. The scales are going up and down and up and down and up and down. Lucky for us, this is an up phase. And this is definitely going to put us in a totally different mindset, totally different emotional space to start plucking out the silver linings of some of the frustrating experiences that many of us have been dealing with as of late. The moon is then going to make an interaction with Saturn, and not a favorable one. And again, now the scales are being tipped in the opposite direction, and we're going to be a little bit of a Debbie Downer. We're getting a harsh reality check in a way. We are feeling the weight of the world, especially weighing on our shoulders at this point, as we realize we're at a very important juncture, if you will, where we are being led away from certain paths, being led into new ones. And right now, I feel like this is kind of hitting us where it is that new roles and responsibilities are available to us, but what that actually means for us, that's a whole lot for us to take on. And we're really not feeling well equipped, well prepared at this particular moment to rise up into those particular roles and responsibilities. And so Saturn, who likes to restrict us, not only restricting the clarity that we're looking for right now, not only restricting our ability to actually take action and move forward, move on and initiate something new, but blocking us as far as feeling like we are confident enough, like we're well equipped, well prepared enough to actually boss up, to actually grow, to actually expand, to actually take on these new roles and responsibilities. The last thing that we have going on here today is the moon in Libra making a positive interaction with Uranus. So again, scales going all the way to the opposite extreme. This is a favorable one though, because Uranus, when he is kind of being in a good mood, is providing us a shift in our mood, in our attitude, in our disposition, in our patterns, in our behavior. We're seeing the light. We're seeing aha moments. We're seeing little bits of clarity being downloaded. We are seeing where it is that we could switch things up, where there is new options available us to try something new. And so it is a very extreme energy from that interaction that we just felt with Saturn, but very much needed in order to understand that just as we sit in the funk, just as we're kind of feeling the pressure, the weight of the world really on our shoulders, just as we're feeling not confident enough, not optimistic about what it is that we have the ability to now boss up into, grow into, evolve into, just when we're feeling that darkness, that weight, again, things shift. The one thing that you can absolutely count on is change. And emotionally speaking, it's like we're freed up from that weight. And not only that, the Uranian energy provides an awakening of sorts where suddenly we have a bigger, broader perspective of what it is that now is available to us, and especially building off of the darker parts that we've been sitting in through the day. That has given us a framework. It's given us a totally different emotional and mental disposition to actually see what is ending, what is closing. Again, we're in a full moon. What we're putting behind us in order to adopt something new. So this is a beautiful way to kind of wrap up this very intense emotional day, putting us in a very good heart and mind space to actually think about the future, what it is that we could be doing differently, and kind of keep the hype going that we are very well equipped, very prepared to jump into new roles and responsibilities when we're gifted with the green light go ahead to actually do so.